Live View Nikon D5200. This video will show you how to use Live View, why you might want to use Live View, and when to use Live View instead of the viewfinder on your Nikon D5200. Don't go away. Hi, I'm Barry Callister of Photographer's Freedom, taking you from beginner to better to business. At photographersfreedom.com and here on my YouTube channel, you will find photography tutorials, camera gear reviews, photography business tips, and so much more, all designed to help you no matter where you are in your photography journey. Subscribe if you like the sound of that, and ding that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Before we get started, in the video description below you will find a free PDF that goes along with this video. Click the link visible down below to download that PDF. It's a quick guide to all that I'm about to talk about here, and it will help you later on when you start to use Live View. Right now, let's go back to my office so I can control the light a bit more and we can actually see the Live View screen a bit better. Come on, let's go. So what is Live View? Live View is where you use the LCD screen on the back of the D5200 to display what you would normally see through the viewfinder. Why would you want to do this? Well, there are a number of reasons. Firstly, if you are filming video with the Nikon D5200, you have to use the Live View screen when you do that. You can't film video looking through the viewfinder, so you have to use Live View for that. The second reason is that you get sharper photos when you use Live View. Why? When you turn on Live View using this lever at the side of the mode dial on top of the camera, you will hear that noise. That is the sound of the mirror in the camera flipping up and out of the way, so that what is being seen through the viewfinder can be projected onto the LCD screen. This also happens when you press the shutter button to take a photo. The mirror must flip up and out of the way so that light can reach the camera's sensor. The motion of the mirror causes a slight vibration within the camera, which can affect the sharpness of your images. That is why using Live View can give you sharper photos, because the mirror is already up and out of the way, so that vibration doesn't occur. A third reason why using Live View is a good idea is it helps to focus more accurately when using manual focus. You can zoom in on the LCD screen and make sure that your focus is super sharp. So you now know what Live View is and why you would want to use it. Now we'll take a look at the settings available in Live View and also the different display options as well. When you enable Live View, this is the display that comes up by default. Up in the top left hand corner here you have the shooting mode indicator. It says M right now because I'm in manual mode, but if I rotate the mode dial you will see that it changes to indicate the mode I'm using. Along the top of the display here you have various icons. The one with the little lightning bolt here is the flash indicator, telling you what flash mode you have selected. It's grayed out now as I have the flash turned off. If I turn the flash on by pressing the flash button here on the side of the camera, you can see it is now lit up. To change any of these settings here in Live View, you can press the information button on the back of the camera here. I can now scroll to the flash settings and you'll see that we have three different flash settings here: fill flash, red eye reduction, and rear curtain sync. If I change it to red eye reduction by pressing the OK button and go back to the main display by pressing the I button again, you can see the icon now shows red eye reduction flash is enabled. Next to that you have the focus mode icon showing you which focus mode you have selected. Currently I have single servo AF selected there, so it displays AFS. If I press the information button again and scroll across to the focus mode using the multi-selector and press OK, the focus mode options will come up. You can select from single servo AF, full-time servo AF, or manual focus, and the icon in the Live View screen will change depending on which you select by pressing the OK button. Next is the AF area mode icon. It's currently indicating this little smiling person at the moment because I have face priority mode selected. Using the information button again, we can take a look at the options available under this setting. Pressing OK to bring them up, we can select face priority, AF, wide area AF, normal area AF, or subject tracking AF. Again, the icon in the live view screen will indicate the mode that you choose. Beside the AF area icon, we have the HDR icon. This will only be active if you are using one of the JPEG image quality formats. We will take a look at how to select those first before we talk about the HDR settings. So if you press the I button again and scroll up to the top left-hand icon, that is where you choose your image quality. Press OK to enter that settings menu. There are 7 options in total. You have NEF RAW and JPEG Fine, NEF RAW and JPEG Normal, NEF RAW and JPEG Basic, RAW, and JPEG Fine, Normal, or Basic. Now, if you don't know the difference between a RAW image and a JPEG, a RAW file is an uncompressed file. It contains all the information that your camera captures when you take the photo, and the file sizes are bigger. RAW files are much better for editing as you have more control over what you can do with them. A JPEG is a compressed file format. Your camera's software compresses the file size or makes it smaller, but it does this by throwing away certain bits of information within the file. This is usually information in the highlights or the shadows of your image. Because of this, JPEG files give you much less control over your editing because they just don't control all the information the camera has captured. I always shoot RAW, but if you want to use the HDR settings on the D5200, you have to choose one of the 3 JPEG options. So I'll just choose JPEG Fine here, press OK, and then I go back to the live view screen. You can also half press the shutter button to go back to the live view screen at any time if you like. We can now press I again to go in and take a look at the options for HDR. In there you have auto, extra high, high, normal, low, or off. Now I've never used this setting in the camera before because I just don't like the look of HDR photography, but you can feel free to play around with those settings if you want. The next icon is the active D-lighting icon. What active D-lighting does is preserve the details in the highlights and the shadows. It's kind of like having a flash when you don't have a flash. For example, I will use it when photographing flying birds on bright skies as it lifts the shadows on the underside of the bird, making the details more visible. I'll also use it when my subject is in a shady area, like under a tree or something. I pretty much just leave it turned on all the time these days. So you have different options in there under active D-lighting, and the icon on the live view screen will tell you which one you have selected. So the next item across is your picture control icon. If you press the information button and scroll right across to the bottom left hand corner there, you can see you can set your picture control, and you have standard, neutral, vivid, monochrome, portrait, or landscape to choose from, and you just press OK to choose which one you want. Next to that is the white balance icon. Fairly self-explanatory, it shows you which white balance setting you have active. Currently it's set to auto, which is weird because I usually leave it on daylight, so I'll just change that and you will see the icon now changes to a little sun there, which indicates that daylight white balance has been set. To the right of the white balance icon, we have the image size icon. This is only active because I have set the image quality to JPEG. Once you do that, you have the option of large, medium, or small, and that will be displayed here in that icon. If I change back to raw quality, you can see it disappears. And then in the top right hand corner is what image quality setting you have selected. As I just set it to raw, you can see it says raw. Below that is the shutter release mode icon. I leave my shutter release set to continuous high speed, so that is why the icon is displaying the little H and the 3 rectangles stacked up there. There are many options for shutter release that can be selected by pressing the shutter release mode button on top of the camera here. You have single frame, continuous L, continuous H, self-timer, the duration of which can be set elsewhere, and I've done a video about that. You can see that video linked up in the card above right now. Delayed remote, quick response remote, and quiet shutter release. Along the bottom of the screen we have some other icons. In the bottom left is the battery indicator telling you how much charge your battery has remaining. As a side note here, using live view drains the battery very quickly, so make sure that you have a spare or two on hand. I've done a video about the Nikon D5200 battery which contains some great tips on how to get the most life out of your batteries. That video is linked up in the card up the top. The little musical note next to the battery icon relates to the beep that sounds when the camera achieves focus. If you press the menu button and navigate to the custom settings menu and then to shooting display, then press OK to enter that part of the menu. D1 here says beep, and if you push the OK button you can see that you can select either low, high or off. As you select them, the camera gives you a sample beep to help you choose which you would like. The icon on the live view screen indicates whether the beep is on or off. Over on the bottom right of the screen we have the exposure indicator. This of course tells you whether you are overexposing or underexposing your shot and when it is correctly exposed. If there are lines showing to the left of the zero, you are underexposing. If there are lines showing to the right of the zero, you are overexposing. And if you just have the center line below the zero, then your shot is correctly exposed. Along the bottom of the LCD screen here in live view, you have similar icons to what appear along the bottom when you look through the viewfinder. On the left is your metering mode. This will change depending on whether you have matrix, center weighted or spot metering selected from here in the information menu. To the right of that is your shutter speed, then the aperture you have selected, your ISO setting, and finally here on the right is a shot counter showing you how many shots you have remaining until your SD card is full. In the center of the live view screen is your focus point. This will turn green when focus is achieved in an autofocus setting. It will not indicate focus when you're using manual focus. You can change what the live view screen displays to. You do this by pressing the info button at the top of the camera. If you press it once, the camera will display movie settings. These are for when you are recording video with the Nikon D5200. So up the top you have your shooting mode, your focus mode and your white balance. Below the white balance icon here we have the recording time remaining. By default, the Nikon D5200 only records for 20 minutes at a time. Below that is your frame size and frame rate. So at the moment I have it set to 1080p at 24 frames per second. Over on the left here is the microphone sensitivity and level meter telling you how loud your audio input is. This can be adjusted from the movie settings menu by pushing the menu button, scrolling to the shooting menu and then across to movie settings. There you have your microphone sensitivity, and you can also turn off the microphone from in here and the icon will indicate that it has been switched off. Pressing the info button again will hide all the icons and indicators. This is helpful when you just need all that stuff out of the way so that you can see what you're looking at. It's great when you're trying to focus manually. You still get these four little lines near the corners here, which I'm assuming are here to help you get your shot level. One more press of the info button will give you this grid view. This is brilliant for lining things up, getting the horizon level, getting the edges of buildings vertical in the frame, etc. Pressing the info button one last time will take you back to the default view. So that is live view on the Nikon D5200. Hopefully now you know all that you need to know about it. Before you go, please click the link in the video description and download the PDF. It's a fantastic reference for you with all the most important points from this video listed in it. It'll really help you when you're out there taking photos to remember all the stuff that I said in this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and ding the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Hit the like button, leave a comment if you're feeling chatty, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, get out there, take some wicked shots, and I'll see you soon.